This video is going to discuss some of the myths and stereotypes associated with gender identity in our society. We only cover a few of the common myths and stereotypes to help you navigate through the growing number of misinformation that exists associated with gender identity. In order to have a healthy conversation with all individuals in your workplace or in your community, it is important to become informed about popular misconceptions. Now let's go over some myths and stereotypes. Myth: being LGBTQ+ is a choice or phase. Fact: this is a common and ongoing myth that identifying as lesbian, gay, bisexual or heterosexual is a choice or phase. Research indicates that sexual orientation ranges from exclusive attraction to the other sex to exclusive attraction to the same sex. Oftentimes sexual orientation may be confused with characteristics or other terminology such as biological sex, gender identity, and social gender roles. Try not to confuse the physiological sense of being male or female with the cultural norms that define feminine and masculine behavior. Myth: people are transgender only if they had reassignment surgery or hormone treatments. Fact: being transgender has to do with gender identity and authenticity, not with what reproductive organs a person has. Myth: transitioning affects mental health. Fact: social and medical transitioning can decrease the disconnect between sex and gender and greatly improve mental health. In 2012, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorder that is widely used in the United States changed diagnosing having a transgender identity from gender identity disorder to gender dysphoria. Gender dysphoria, according to the American Psychiatric Association, this involves a conflict between a person's physical gender and the gender with which he or she identifies. Misconception: gender-neutral facilities are a threat to safety and order. To inform in regards to this misconception, gender-neutral bathrooms and gender-neutral facilities provide a safe space for all individuals. In fact, facilities that are not gender-neutral have a tendency to be a threat to safety and order. There have been accounts of transgender and gender nonconforming individuals being threatened or harassed for using facilities thought to not be assigned to their identity appearance. This idea creates an environment that is unwelcoming, non-inclusive and unsafe for many individuals. Myth: non-binary is the same thing as being intersex. Fact: intersex is an umbrella term used specifically for people who are born with variations of sex characteristics which do not always fit society's perception of male or female bodies. Being non-binary is not about your physical body, it's about having a gender identity that is not described simply by using the words man or woman. A person can be non-binary no matter what physical body they have. Myth: all trans people should be treated as non-binary. Fact: the majority of trans people strongly and consistently identify as men or as women. Trans people seek inclusion within the single-sex spaces that match their gender identity, rather than needing gender-neutral spaces. Non-binary people refers to anyone who identifies as either having a gender which is in between or beyond the two categories man and woman, fluctuating between man and woman, or as having no gender, either permanently or some of the time. Myth: all transgender people are gay because they fall into the LGBTQ+ acronym. Fact: it's easy to get this confused. The key is to remember that transgender is referring to someone's gender identity and not their sexual orientation. Transgender people can be gay, straight, pansexual, queer, asexual, or any other sexual orientation, just like cisgender people. And there you have it. Now let's discuss workplace compliance and employment discrimination.